Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome back to my podcast, The Morning Mood. We are here this morning with a very special guest, Venky, and he is going to talk to us about our greatest lesson, or his greatest lesson, not our greatest lesson, his greatest lesson. And actually, I said our because we started talking about it before, and we both kind of agree it's a good one. So maybe it is our greatest lesson, but I'm going to let you tell it. And we're going to hear a little bit about what you're doing now. You're doing something that's super exciting with visual data. We kind of got excited about that. And we're going to learn how you applied this greatest lesson to your success. So tell us more.
Yeah, my name is Venky Ranganathan. I'm the CTO of Plain Site.
Yeah.
We are a AI computer vision company. The cool thing about this company is that computer vision was sort of the expensive, difficult to implement in the past. And
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is we make it easier for our customers to implement computer vision applications. Super easy. Use our filters, which is our technology, in terms of figuring out what exactly we need from cameras, the data from the cameras, and how to read them, how to process it, how to train the model, and use AI in a non-human kind of process to detect, take actions based on
Hmm.
what we do. I think the cool thing about this is if you think about DevOps, how it goes through a pipeline in terms
Hmm.
of, you make a change, gets into the pipeline, you create sort of a container, you test the container, you want to make sure that that change propagates all the way from start to finish into deployment. We do
Hmm.
the same thing with we do the same thing with computer vision application. It's called
Yep.
VisOps. And the key thing is that there is a pipeline for how we have the cameras detect some information, we filter it, we use our filters to figure out what exactly do we want to see in that
Yes.
particular video stream, whether live or recorded, and process it, train the model. So I think we actually get to detect specific stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. If you have like a plate of salad, right?
Hmm.
How can you detect how much protein you have? How much
Right.
carb do you have? How much fiber do you have on the plate? So it's a way to sort of detect things like that, and then use that information to inform the customer or inform some sort of data collection in terms of, like, what is the trend, what is the posture of people going, and what kind of stuff are they doing or eating, and so maybe inform them of the health, sort of a, hey, here's the gap, kind of thing. So you can do a lot of things with the action part of it. But the cool thing is having this system that is, we are good with GPUs and CPUs, which are a big cost for computer
Yes.
vision. Because of the amount of data, we sort of figure out what exactly do we need in the data.
Hmm.
So I think that selective way of thinking about this, and also, people can plug in, and it's a plug and play. So you can
Yeah.
actually use filters as you see fit, kind of thing. We wanted to make it easier for people. At the same time, it provides value that, a regular chat GPT query may
Oh,
not do,
no.
right?
Yeah.
Because you can't have the specialized kind of systems, and also production quality. So here's the big difference. Like, you can do a lot of things with chat GPT, for example, but how do you take it to prime time? How do you take it to production? How to
Yes.
make it available to a lot of customers, multiple customers, that kind of
Right.
thing. So we're very ambitious. This is a great company. We have a good set of people on the
Yeah.
team. I'm looking forward to. I've been in the job for 3 weeks now. I'm super excited about what we can do.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. And so, for the audience, what we're talking about, and a great example is just your home security camera. So, lots of people have a Ring or some sort of security camera. One, if you record everything that happens, that eats up a lot of storage. You're probably already dealing with that. And
Yes.
you get a lot of notices, right? With the neighbor's dog being, a human, somebody's trying to break in, it's a squirrel. We see all kinds of these stories. And while that's a really, really, really basic and kind of pedestrian example of the problem that you're solving, it is
Yes.
kind of the problem that you're solving, which is how do we take all of this visual data that's being recorded all the time, Another great example, if you're a true crime person, every time they want to go get cameras and, London, and they're like, well, 50% of them are down because we can't store all the data. And, in the hours they have to go through to try to find a suspect. This is the
Correct.
problem that you're solving, which is how do we take
Exactly.
this massive amount of information, pull out specifically what we need, trend it,
Yes.
provide
Yes.
it in a digestible way that means something to somebody else, and then
Yeah.
get rid of all the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well put.
Beautiful.
Well described. That's exactly precisely the point. Is like what specific things are we looking for?
Yeah.
For example, in the future, let's say we can do things like, let's say there's an orange color in the background, we can ignore, for
Yeah.
example. Like
Yes.
being able to selectively like
Right.
configure what you want
We're
to see,
only
that's
yeah.
the key.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
wanna look at trucks, we only wanna look at compact cars or something to
Ex-
that effect. The other thing
Yes.
that you and I talked about this recently, and I learned about this when I was at Nordstrom and got an opportunity to participate in some of the Microsoft retail labs, is that there's a lot of data being collected sadly, in our daily movements and our shopping, right? How long do we
Yeah.
stand in front of something and not buy it? What did we buy
Uh,
in alternative to that? What caught our eye? Were we attracted to something? Like there's a lot of information being stored about our and gathered about our movements when we're in a retail location. And that
yeah.
is super valuable information because we're starting to be able to collect customer behavior real time.
Yeah. Like
And
what's popular? Like where do
yes,
people linger? Where do
in the
people
minute.
linger, see the thing, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
not did they buy it, like, previously, we had to know, like, did they go to a product page? How long did they
Yeah.
stay on the product page, right?
Yeah.
And did they buy it? Like, that's
Yes.
kinda how we knew, like, "Okay, we think this is successful." But now we have an
Yeah.
opportunity to be like, "Hey, maybe they didn't buy it, but they stood there for 2.5 minutes."
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because they thought
Yeah.
about it. So it's really
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. So tell us a little bit about your background prior to this, because you don't just jump into CTO for a massive data collection and processing company. So how'd you get here?
Yeah, so, I have a good, 27 plus years of experience with, software development. A bulk of my experience has been at, Amazon and Microsoft.
Mhm.
So I spent 12 years at Amazon and 9 years at Microsoft.
Oh,
So that's
not a
21 years right
never heard
there.
of either one of those.
So my sort of expertise is, pure software development, building products, from start to finish. Like you think about, 0 to 1, 1 through
Yeah.
n, kind of versions. I've had the opportunity to really understand what it takes to deliver a product.
Mhm.
Amazon teaches you a lot of stuff for sure, and Microsoft does too in a different way.
Yeah.
So mostly my experience has been on AWS software, and I built automation for the infrastructure, data center infrastructure. And then I also spent a lot of time on the seller platform, the third party seller
Mhm.
platform, building that at my Amazon. And then back in Microsoft, I worked on SQL Server,
Mhm.
delivered features in SQL Server. Also worked on a lot on security. I have a couple of patents on security too. And before that, I started off with databases, Sybase and IBM kind of thing in
Mhm.
my initial years. I was a developer for quite a bit, and then became a development manager. Then I led multiple teams in Amazon.
Yeah.
And then before I came here, I was at a different startup called Fullbay, where I was a VP of engineering. Got a chance to develop, SaaS application, do refactoring, microservices, build CI/CD platform, that kind of stuff. So
Very
had an
cool.
opportunity to do multiple stuff. So enjoyed and still learning, but
Oh,
um,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
for those of you who are new to coding and new to engineering, like it's changed dramatically. How we build and develop code now. Way back in the day, like before you ever developed a feature, you had to build the foundation almost always every single time. It was any build was from the ground up. And now
Yeah,
with SaaS and all sorts of microservices and different types of technology structures, it's a whole different world. But way back in the day, you had to know it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to learn the hard way, I guess, which is a good thing. You learn the basics, I think, for sure.
Yeah, you learned a lot of the basics. Good stuff. All right. So, what we really want to hear from you today is what is the greatest lesson that you've learned and how have
Yeah,
you applied it to your success?
yeah. So when you sort of brought this up first time, I was thinking about what would be that main thing. I had like 3 or 4 candidates, I guess, to discuss, including things like I've learned about how to create a team of varying experiences, varying perspectives, how to appreciate that kind of thing.
Mhm.
That would have been a great topic too, but I think I chose mentorship. So
Mm.
uh, a lot about mentorship that it's not the basic stuff like you have a mentor, you go talk to them about whatever, and they
Yeah.
give you some advice. I think it goes much beyond that for me. I mean, in retrospect, like I think about my younger days. How I could have benefited from having a really good mentor that kind of set me right, if you
Mhm.
will.
As if we
So,
could have been set right back then. I mean, we were assuming that we would have heard anything somebody said to us. Yeah. Anyhow.
it's funny when I was thinking about sort of when you come out of college, when you're in at work, you get your first job, second job, right? There are things that you don't realize that you don't know, right?
Mhm.
First of all, I mean, I was super competitive in everything, right? You like compete for everything.
Yep.
So a lot of times I found that even when I was a rookie coming up, like I would compete with other people. Like I would compete with other people. Somehow that edge seemed like an important thing.
Even
I
if they
need I
didn't know
needed to
they
be
were competing. They're like, "I don't what?
no.
Oh, yeah, you're just I'm running a race against you, and you have no idea we're even in a race. That's cool, though. Here
Exactly.
we go."
And you know what? They were cool, but I didn't realize that they were cool. And I was the one that was wired like differently or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact was like you are chasing after something. You're always like trying to outdo somebody else.
Yes.
And what that did was it introduced some negative um, connotations, right?
Yeah.
What happens then is you're trying to sort of grab projects that may not be in your wheelhouse, and you may not be successful, or you're trying to sort of yeah, it becomes like a not a good game, right? Like
Yeah.
when you try to do that stuff. So I wish somebody had said, "Hey, dude, like just relax, do your job." Do your job well. Do your
Yeah.
job excellently well.
Focus on that.
Uh,
Yeah.
focus on just your job and
Yeah.
how to be helpful to other people, how to enable other people, and then you grow to be a better people respect you. People would want to work with you.
Yep.
Somehow I thought being really good at what I do was more important than how I was as a person, right?
Yeah.
But you realize very late, I think, or later in life, I guess. But so that was one thing. And also, I think even things like you don't realize, but finances, right? Like when you're younger, you don't know how
Mhm.
to sort of think about finances or, where do you invest or what do you do?
Yeah. What do you
No
do?
clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do? No
Yeah.
clue, right? I had
Right.
like zero idea of about what it was. And even emotionally, for example, how is work different from personal life? Like,
Mhm.
what are things that you could do in your personal life? Like, for example, it's a professional relationship as opposed to a friendly, like, kind of thing. So
Yes.
either you become friends, and then that doesn't work out, and in the workplace is kind of weirded
Yeah.
out, kind of
You gotta be
thing.
real careful with that.
Or it could be that you're like treating this like a competitive kind of thing, and then you were not.
Taking
So
things in
I think I learn a
personally.
lot about. So somebody can like there are people that do so well. Like I just admire some people that know how to sort of really conduct very well at work. So in my younger days, of course, and of course, you learn the hard way. So what the good news is, you learn the hard way, and then now you know sort of how best to do this stuff. And when I think about people on my team, wherever I went, it was about developing the team the right
Yes.
way. Like,
Mhm.
for example, you would actually want to reward people that are like into their own individual ways. Everybody's
Yeah.
different.
Yep.
How to sort of encourage them, how to sort of fill the gap, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so you learn a lot. So
Yeah. And I think a couple things about mentorship, because you and I talked about this. Mentorship it's one of the big reasons I started the podcast, because like you, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have
yeah,
anybody to say like, hey, don't, you're really upsetting everyone when you do X, Y, or Z. So like you, I
yeah,
had to learn the hard way, and upset a lot of people in the process. But
yeah,
I think what people need to understand is that mentorship is not about giving direction.
yes,
It's not
yeah,
managing someone. It's pulling
yes,
someone aside after a meeting, and please, if you see this, please do this for this person. Pulling
yeah,
them outside after a meeting, not during the meeting, but after the meeting, and being like, "Hey, when you stood up and you cussed everybody out? Yeah,
yeah,
you lost the room."
yes,
People don't
yeah,
respond well to that. Like, I
yeah,
understand that you're frustrated, and it's okay to show that, but you need to know that you shut everybody down, and they're not gonna wanna work with you now.
yes,
If
yes,
somebody had
exactly.
said that to me at 25, I don't even know where I'd be right now. I don't know. I'd probably been a hell of a lot more successful.
Yeah, I think that's great. I also like the way some people do this so well, like ask in the form of a question.
Yeah.
Like for example, you could ask,
Mhm.
"Hey, how do you think that went?" Or, "Hey, did you see the reactions on the faces of people? What did
Yeah.
you think about?" So I think you do a lot of good by realizing it yourself, and
Yes.
then having the mentor be that trigger to get you to think about stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be direct and say, "No, that was awful," like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. See,
I
that's
want them to
direction.
realize what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
Yeah, and see,
exactly.
that's the difference between direction and mentorship, right? So I'm not your
Yeah,
leader, I'm not your manager, and typically a good mentor is not your manager. There's somebody who's on the side, who's really
right.
looking out for just you, right? And
Yes,
they're
yes,
seeing you through a different set of eyes that your leader's seeing or anybody else that you're working with is seeing you. So
yeah,
that is who a good mentor is. Do not lean on your boss to be your mentor. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a mistake. They can be a mentor, but you need to have another one.
exactly.
Mhm.
I like that point because I always found that you can have a mentor within the same team that you're in,
Yes.
whether it's a manager or a lead,
Yeah.
but you also need somebody outside the fact because somebody removed from that situation. But I found though is that it's actually very useful to have somebody on the team because
Yes.
your mentorship is usually around the work that you do.
Mhm.
Like for example, I found a lot of value in saying, "Hey, what are the gotchas when
Yeah.
I do this work, right? What can get you?" kind of thing. So I think there are a lot of people that help you within the team. You
Yeah.
just have to be, like I said, going back to my point, you just have to be nice about it. Like,
Yes.
think that the collective success is more important
Yes.
than my own individual success. It's going to come. If
Yeah.
I do well with the team, good things are going to happen to me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So just that niceness and willing to listen, willing to learn, willing to be collaborative, super important.
Very important. I did a couple episodes on feedback. I actually did 3 episodes on feedback, and this is sort of related to
Oh,
this. And I want to encourage people to be more mentors, right? I think a big message of this. Seek mentorship, but also offer your mentorship more. It's very hard to ask for mentorship. So please
right.
offer it. But
Yeah.
what Venky and I are talking about here is true mentorship comes from your heart, and it
Right.
comes from a place of helping that person.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
not come from a place of, I know better, I'm smarter, I'm older, or I like the sound of my voice. If any of those reasons are motivating you to speak, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the mentor actually learns a lot too in the process. In fact,
Yes.
learns more because I got to learn about people like, hey, I think you do that really well. Maybe I
Yeah.
should do that too. The kind of
Mhm.
thing, like
Yeah.
a lot of good stuff.
I
By
saw
the way,
you do that.
feedback is, I totally love that feedback thing because that's another subject. Like you deal with that so much that it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like mentorship, you give feedback when it matters and not
Yes.
when it doesn't matter, the
Yeah.
kind of thing. And knowing when to do it and knowing when not to do it
Yes.
and knowing how to do it, how to say it, how to word it is super,
Yeah.
super.
It's a big piece. And you and I came out of that. So the whole episodes were really around, corporate has perpetuated these feedback cultures, right? Like
Mhm.
Amazon got pretty famous for this and they've been walking it back for a while. Is
Yeah.
feedback is a gift. And anytime anybody wants to sit down and give you a gift, you should
Yeah.
receive it. Well, it became
Oh, yeah.
toxic, right? And
Yeah.
Amazon
Yeah.
actually ran into this and had to roll back some of their 24/7, 360 reviews because the
Oh,
shit
yeah.
was getting off the hook. But
Yeah.
yeah, feedback is not about a personal preference. It is not
Yeah.
about I don't like something that you did. It's around data, it's around output,
Yes.
and it's about how
Yes.
it impacts the company. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think one of the things also I've seen is any feedback that you provide, people are interested in the negative feedback. Let's say I'm talking to a
Yes.
developer engineer. I could tell them 90 things that are good, but if I tell them like two things that are not working well, that strikes people, right? That makes the biggest impression. They forget the 90 that is really going good. so
Right.
so how you say it is so important. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, whether it's major or minor, is it a deal breaker or
Yeah.
not? And sort of knowing how, and then timing is so important. Like there
Yes.
are some relaxed times when you can give feedback. It cannot be, yes, you can do it after the meeting, but there are some things you talk about in a more relaxed atmosphere. But hey, what
Yeah.
does it take to advance in your career? What do you do? What are the
Yeah.
kind of things you should do? And people are so motivated after good feedback. It's
Yeah.
amazing to me
They are.
because people are like, wow, I got it. Like I'm gonna go. I'm so charged up. I'm just energized by this
Thank
conversation.
you. Yeah.
I'm gonna go do something. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. When you give it well, you get a thank you at the end. When you give it poorly, you get a "Oh, okay." Those are kind of the
Silence.
responses that you get. But the other thing is that if someone is taking time to give you good feedback, please listen because they have
Yeah,
taken time out of their day to craft this for you. So it's
yeah,
important for
yeah,
you to listen to it. But yeah, so Venky and I both lived through cultures where feedback became almost toxic
yeah,
because it was constant, it was personal, and it was not actionable. I think the other thing that makes really good mentorship is giving people things that they can do. Here's a way to
yes,
say something. Here's
yeah,
how you could approach it. Here's,
yeah,
giving them a tool at the end of a mentorship session or a little chat is very important.
yeah. By the way, some of the specific feedback actually helps. Like I've done things like, I've told people, for example, like, hey, if you use a number of words, let's say use 100 words, try
Yes.
to do it in 50 words.
Yep.
Try to do it in 50 words. Like, how
I've
do
given that
you
one more.
sometimes more number of words, more number
Yeah.
of things that you say is not going to matter. It's actually going to be negative.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
Big
just say
time.
the right things? And how do you conduct yourself? Like, be on time, like simple stuff. Like, it
Simple
seems like super
stuff.
simple, but yeah,
It's
exactly.
simple stuff. Yeah, I had a client not long ago, and I gave one of the managers a challenge. She was very verbose, and he thought it made him sound smarter. It was actually opposite. I gave him a 3 sentence max. I said, every question, here are 10 questions you have to answer, 3 sentences.
Yeah, yeah. With a full stop in between, right? Like,
Yeah,
there has
yeah.
to be multiple
Like,
full
no, no,
stops.
yeah, it can't be like a 42-page or 42, yeah. Yeah, it had to be
Yeah,
like 3 sentences, and it was a big challenge for him because it forced him to crystallize his thoughts before he put them on paper. But as
yeah,
part of that exercise, he caught his mistakes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
had
pretty
more
cool.
credibility.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also listening, right? Like you mentioned listening, I think. So where I think you have to love to listen to people. Like
Mhm.
you have to love to hear from other people. Like
Yes.
if you are so interested in like saying things, but I think the charm is in really trying to listen to people and what they're saying. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty cool
Yeah.
because you get to learn something about that person, and you got to like the person or wanting to like the person like while you talk to them, like
Yeah.
like you really want to help and really. But sometimes you can do it without many words at all.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's actually yeah, it's very powerful. So thank you,
yeah.
Venky, for being here and sharing your greatest lesson,
Awesome.
mentorship. If you seeking mentorship, go ask if you revere someone that you work with, if you really have a lot of respect for someone, quietly ask them if they would be open for mentorship. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be once a month for 30 minutes. It's and the other thing is if they do agree to this, please use their time valuably. These are not bitch sessions. I don't want to hear about how much you hate everything. You're wasting my time.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And if you want to be a mentor, reach out to people. There's not enough of you out
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
exactly.
Venky, thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, Kim. I really appreciate it, Kim.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time. Yeah.
Thanks.